Skip Schumaker going to be the manager of the Miami Marlins. That's no surprise, and it's a good choice. But Craig Mish, longtime South Florida baseball media person who's really, really good, and he usually breaks all the news down there. So he reported it, and others are now reporting it or confirming it, and that's good enough for me. So the Cardinals bench coach, and, of course, very popular Cardinals player back in the day, is now going to be managing the Miami Marlins. You know, they have some really good young talent. I don't think they're that far away. I mean, there's some good pieces to work with. This it's not a hopeless situation. You know, it's not a Pittsburgh situation where they're not even trying to win. I think this ownership group, relatively new ownership group down in South Florida, it seems to me they're at least going to be trying to ramp up here. Not going wild as far as spending, but I think they want to compete. They're in a tough division. I don't think they were all that bad last year, really.
Yeah. No, they always find young players, Bernie. They always find young players. So that intrigues me all the time with them. They just jump up and you go, wow, they got a bunch of good players. They do it in a cycle. So it'll be interesting to watch what happens down there.
And you know, their record wasn't good last year, but like I said, there's talent. You know, I don't see a hopeless situation. So we'll see what Skip Schumaker can do. But I think Skip Schumaker, you know, a lot of it has to do, it's just like the NFL draft if you're a quarterback. A lot of it has to do with who drafts you and the culture and the environment you enter. Some quarterbacks get a head start on the ones that are sort of drafted into hell, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're drafted by a stable, you know, structured, well-functioning organization that's got a pretty good track record, maybe has slipped a little and needs a quarterback. Well, you're drafted into an organization that's got a pedigree, then you got a better chance to succeed. If you're drafted into an organization that is dysfunctional and horrible and has a terrible history, you're basically the proverbial lamb being led to slaughter. And so I use that analogy when we discuss managing jobs, especially first-time managers. You know, I happen to think Derek Shelton's a hell of a manager, the Pirates manager. Now, lazy people will look at the record and say, oh, what are you talking about? This guy loses 100 games 2 years in a row. Yeah. Look at the owner's box. That's why. Has nothing to do with the manager. He's really, really good, and he's highly regarded within the business, but he's got a terrible record, and his chances for success there are slim and none because the guy that owns the Pirates could be, other than Daniel Snyder, could be the worst owner in the four professional sports in North America, and I mean that. He's reprehensible. So Skip Schumaker's kind of going into Ali Marmol gets a job at an organization where, even though the Cardinals have been extremely disappointing in the postseason for quite a while now, they're still a winning organization that makes the playoffs, and they have a great history. Even with their flaws or their imperfections, it's still a hell of an organization where you got a positive tradition working for you. And a pipeline of talent that just keeps flowing. And, you know, you got Goldschmidt and Arenado. So that's a pretty good first gig for Ali Marmol. Skip Schumaker's somewhere in the middle. I mean, it's not like getting the Cardinals job, but it's nowhere, in my opinion, even though the Marlins lost 93 games last year, I don't think it's as bad, nearly as bad as, say, the Pirates job. So maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I hope he does well, and I think he'll be given a long time in the helm. I don't think there's any immediate pressure to turn this thing around. That's more on the front office and Kim. How do you pronounce her last name?
Oh gosh,
Kim Ying or Ing, I think is how you say it.
And I think it is. Yeah.
And I apologize for that. I should know that. I know her, but I don't know how to pronounce the name.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's pressure on her, but not so much Skip Schumaker. So good luck to him.
Yeah, I look forward to getting his opportunity. And being the baseball nerd I am, I just want to see, okay, what are his philosophies and how does he approach a game? How is it similar to what he learned here with Ollie? Is it similar to somebody else? I think that is always a fun watch because I think he's always been a good, smart baseball guy, and we've always known that. So getting his chance, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, they just they really do need to add. I tell you what, their pitching is good, and I'm not going to sit here and break down the whole team. But, I mean, you start with Sandy Alcantara, who probably going to win the Cy Young Award. If he doesn't win it, he'll finish second. They have, I'm just glancing at their ERA pluses. Anything over 100 is above average. I mean, Alcantara's 178. Pablo Lopez is above average. Jesus Luzardo is above average. This was last year. Braxton Garrett, Edward Cabrera, Trevor Rogers. I mean, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's at least 5 starters who performed at an above average level last season. Bullpen, there's some guys in there that are above average. And now again, I don't know who's coming back. Maybe some of these guys are free agents. But you have a really good pitching staff already assembled for the most part. And I'm looking at the offense, and I'm not going to go into that, but I see 1 or 2, maybe 3 guys who were above average last season. And it's not a good situation in that regard. So good luck to him. I think he's a really smart guy. I think it is a loss for the Cardinals because I think Schumaker and Marmol worked very, very well together. And Schumaker and Marmol were both very much ingrained into the Cardinals and how they do things. And when I say the Cardinal way, I'm talking about teaching the game, making sure the fundamentals are sharp, that kind of thing. They were both, pardon the play on words, they were both birds of a feather. Now, I don't know who they're going to hire as the bench coach. And I'm sure if you go to hysterical social media, you probably have demands that they make Pujols the bench coach or demands that Molina be the bench coach or, hey, Waino, if he retires, he should be the bench coach. We'll go into the nostalgia thing all over again because that's what we do. It's all about nostalgia. So, but I have no idea what their ideas are on this. I think the manager, Ali Marmol, should have a big say in what he does. Maybe there's a coach already on the staff that he would promote, like Stubby Clapp or Pop Warner. I mean, I don't know. Let's just wait and see. But I'm not going to rush. I'm not going to rush to the Twitter, and just start demanding that. It's just well, if the Cardinals, this is a no-brainer. They don't hire Pujols, then everybody should be fired. That kind of stuff. As if Pujols already has said, oh, I really want this job, and they said no. It's just, people are just get tired of it. I get tired of myself too, as others get tired of me. So we're all equal. Anyway, that's that.